Welcome to the Spurs News Podcast, your home for all things Tottenham Hotspur. Now, here are your hosts.
Hello everybody and welcome to a new episode of the Spurs News Podcast. I am Sam, delighted to say I've not yet taken a headfirst dive off of the skywalk. Joining me, without a bungee, it's Stefan.
It's tempting though, isn't it? It really is sometimes.
So I said to someone the other day, and this is how dark my mind got, is I genuinely think for this club and ownership to maybe fuck off, it might take someone doing something quite drastic. So I've decided if I get a terminal diagnosis, I will walk to the top of the skywalk in a t-shirt like Enoch out and jump off the fucking thing. Do you reckon that'd work?
I mean, it might work.
I think there'd be some publicity.
I do think that is true. Yeah, I do think that would get people looking.
Yeah, I did also think for a protest, people could go up there and chain themselves to it. But I couldn't do that because I think I'd be scared.
Yeah, I'm not great with heights.
No.
The reason I've not done the Dare Skywalk is because I don't dare to do it because I don't like heights.
Have you seen the video of Jan Vertonghen doing it?
That would be me.
Yeah. It was funny because his kids are all chilled out, relaxed, loving it. And he's like, stay holding daddy's hand.
Yeah, do not stop walking. Keep going. Come on.
Yeah. Bless him.
That'd be me.
Oh, I miss you, Brian.
I miss a lot of things. I miss White Hart Lane. I was thinking this the other day. I really miss White Hart Lane.
Oh dear, now that's a controversial topic. Do you want to kick the podcast off with that? We could kick the podcast off with that. So
I love our new stadium. It's fantastic. But if we're talking just purely on memories, fuck me, I miss White Hart Lane.
Yeah, I mean that's nostalgia though, isn't it?
Unbeaten for a whole season at home with an absolute rock solid team.
Yeah, but
the
again,
enclosed atmosphere, everything about. Oh, I just miss it.
See, now you're gone. So, I've got a show and I laid out a kind of rough guide of what to talk through because, with us, there's always stuff to talk about.
I bet that wasn't on it.
Actually, it is.
Oh,
because
there we go.
Because we had an email question come in, which I was going to open the fan comment question segment with it. So, let's kick off with that.
Now it's time for your comments from our social media.
We had an email from Mr. Stark in the USA, and long-time listener, big-time fan, and he posed the question: has the stadium, doing this big build and move into this stadium, is it the reason we've gone so backwards? He worded it far more articulately, but he's basically posing the question of, if we had stayed at White Hart Lane, invested the stadium money into the team, would we be in a successful period and maintained a successful period? Has the stadium and all the debt and everything that's come of it and the move and all that stuff, where we went through basically 2 seasons, very minimal transfer activity, the team there therefore went stale and it's just been on a downward trajectory since, is the stadium to blame? So you kicked off with a bit of White Hart Lane nostalgia.
To bring up those horrible buggers down the road, but when they opened their new stadium, they kind of had this, nowhere near as drastic as relegation battles.
Yeah.
But they went through the same thing. They had a couple of seasons of very low transfer activity. A few seasons of really being 8th place and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And now, they're unfortunately one of the best teams in Europe.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I don't see us having that same kind of bounce back.
They are a club run with sporting success in mind. Their ownership and the way they do things is with winning in mind. Like they will sign a player for 100 million, like in Declan Rice.
But they don't have Beyonce for 5 nights. Oh, you know.
I'm not sure Jay-Z does either. I think she... Oh, no, you mean like concerts. Sorry, concerts. Yeah. God, Beyonce for 5 nights. I couldn't. I'm too old now. It's way too Banksy. Anyway, I... See, this is an interesting question because I see it get debated, but not really debated. I see it get kind of thrown around as like and the stadium's fucked us. It's not really our ground, it's an NFL ground and all this kind of stuff. And it does open like a really great discussion. So let's dive into it a little bit. When we were at White Hart Lane, Pochettino in his second season built a team that was so fit and dynamic and so kind of on it that at home, especially in a smaller pitch, kind of enclosed, we were all over teams. Like the pressing, the kind of relentless everything. It was a joy to behold. It really was special to watch. And that team is a little bit of lightning in a bottle. Like, I think Pochettino deserves a lot of credit for the system, the coaching, and developing it. But what I've come to realise is there was a lot of luck in that team coming together because as much as Tim Sherwood likes to claim responsibility for the whole thing, that squad of players came together with a kind of like... So, you know, you just kind of like walk forward. Like Hugo Lloris was a fantastic goalkeeper. He was there and was basically trying to leave, if people can remember back to this point. He was like, I've played in England for a couple of years. Tottenham was a bit of a mess. I've got loads of offers and was always kind of, every window there was a good strong link with Hugo leaving.
Yeah.
Carl Walker was deemed a failed right back. He'd been out on loan. No one really rated him. Too poor in possession. Just generally didn't offer a lot going forward. Was quick. Was like his only asset. Danny Rose was a winger converted to a left back. Everyone said he couldn't defend. When he signed the new 5-year deal, Tottenham fans kicked off so much about it. He left social media.
Yeah,
That's how hated or underrated he was. Jan Vertonghen's still fairly new to the English league, and people were still missing Ledley King terribly. So again, it wasn't like a kind of amazing thing. And Toby Alderweireld had just come in. I think he'd been on loan. Was it Southampton he was on loan?
Yeah, he was an Athletic Madrid player.
Yeah.
On loan at Southampton, and then we signed him.
And then we nicked him from Southampton.
And everyone kind of questioned why we'd want a Southampton player.
Well, I mean, it was quality, but I mean, in that season, for example, he was new. Like, so again, it was kind of, yeah, we got him, but you know, is he any good? Who knows? Oh, he knows Jan. Yeah, they're friends. But then you got like Christian Eriksen in the midfield, who was signed as part of the Magnificent Seven, which was deemed a monumental failure. So, you know, he was kind of there, but was he ever going to achieve anything? Dele Alli was signed as an academy player, and Pochettino's coaching staff looked at him and went, well, fuck it, give it a go, see what happens.
Yeah, he ain't bad, this kid.
Well, you know, he's young, he's enthusiastic. We're struggling with like some of the more senior players to get on board. Let's see what he can do. And yeah, I think he scored on his debut, and that was it.
Yeah, kid was. He brought Eric Dyer came in as a centre back, being played at right back. Scored on his debut.
Well, again, you know, Eric Dyer was signed by the club as like a possible young player who might come good. Something the club did a lot of and still do, and we all know that the hit rate for that isn't great. This is why I'm saying it's like lightning in a bottle, because if Pochettino and his coaching converted Eric Dyer from a central defender / right back into a defensive midfielder, everyone just kind of went, "Oh, that's gonna suck," and he was brilliant. You know, for a season to 2 seasons, Eric Dyer was the answer to England's prayers.
He really was, wasn't he? Like, I remember the World Cup where he scored the winning penalty in the shootout, and he was playing that holding midfield, and everyone was like, "Oh my God, this is the answer we've been waiting for."
Yeah. So when I'm saying like lightning in a bottle, it's just like it was kind of a hodgepodge squad with academy players coming through, like Harry Kane came through at that moment. They were trying to sign desperately Sadio Barino. He was an English forward at West Brom.
Oh my God! I remember him. He turned up in a car park somewhere.
Yeah, couldn't get the deal over the line. West Brom negotiations with Daniel Levy broke down. And because of that, they went to the next player on the list, which is a guy in Germany called Son Heung-min. But he wasn't if they managed to get that deal done for that other kid, like it never would have happened. We never would have signed Sonny.
Madness, innit? Absolute madness.
And again, when we signed Sonny, everyone called it a PR stunt.
Yeah.
Like it's the memory of these players and the nostalgia of everything inside that stadium is built by what they achieved as a collective.
So after his first season, Sonny wanted to go back to Germany. He didn't like it.
Yeah, exactly. He had to be convinced to stay. I mean, another player which people seem to forget because of how immense he was under Pochettino is Moussa Dembele. He was maybe a number 10. No one knew.
He was an attacking midfielder that couldn't score.
Yeah, no one knew what to do with him. He was just kind of this guy, and Pochettino coached him and changed it and was like, no, you're box to box. Like, you've got the ball control. No one can get the ball off you. I still think that statistic of him going an entire season without being dispossessed once is fucking ridiculous.
Oh, it's crazy,
central midfield.
That is just like, in terms of like mental stats that you read somewhere, when you read that, that's one of those ones where you look at it and you go, no, surely, holy crap, it's true.
But again, like, this is that nostalgia thing where everyone just remembers him, phenomenal player, best player, amazing player. And everyone forgets it until Pochettino arrived. Most Spurs fans were ready for him to leave. Like, didn't know what to do with him. Like, what is he? Like you said, he was basically bought as like a number 10 attacking midfielder who didn't score. Didn't really get assists.
Yeah.
It was like, well, what is he?
What does he actually do then?
Yeah, he was on the bench most of the time. So, you know, and there's other players like sociopathic Lamella and, you know, so many others in and around it all. But it was lightning in a bottle. It all came together. It was put together. It was the right coach at the right time with the right group of players who all were ready, all bought in. Is that to do with the stadium? Like, is it easier to play that way to get things done in that kind of ground, that size pitch? It's an interesting debate because I remember when we moved to Wembley for the year, we struggled at first.
Yes.
But by the end of the year, we were playing our football. And there's some, like, I keep seeing, like, every now and again, like, the club's official thing will put out, like, we played this team on this day at Wembley. And I'm like, gee, I forgot. We beat, like, Chelsea, like, 4-2 at Wembley and stuff like that. It's like, I forgot all about that. It's like Sonny beating his man on the outside, running all the way round him and scoring.
Oh, that was the one that they turned into, like, a Super Mario clip, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
no, Sonic the Hedgehog, that was it.
Yeah.
Sonic the Hedgehog picking up coins.
But, like, it's just... it's funny what the memory does to you, because I think people are holding on to the old stadium as nostalgia, because when we left that stadium, we were really good. But I grew up... I was born in 83... I really followed football from Italia 90, so from 1990 onwards I was football obsessed. So my first Tottenham team was like 1991 when we won the FA Cup, beat Arsenal in the semi-final 3-1 was my first game I went to.
Yep.
So yeah, it's kind of like insane to me, like, because from that moment onwards it was shit. being a Spurs fan, really. All through school, it was crap. Like all through the 90s, into the early 2000s. Things kind of the manager that kind of changed it for me was Martin Jol. We went from being win one, lose one, mid-table crap to actually pushing for European places and winning more than we lost. And then we kind of went on an upward trajectory, you know, a few detours, but it was generally improving from that point on. The peak with Pochettino, and it's been on a downward trajectory ever since. Once we fired him, we've had a few moments, but generally the level of the club and the team has been going down ever since. Now, I can understand, therefore, why people are looking at the stadium and going, well, that happened, so therefore it must be that. I actually think it's just down to awful fucking decisions from the club's hierarchy. I mean, if this season can't demonstrate to people that they are so inept and so stupid, it's mind-blowingly bad. It's
genuinely baffling, isn't it? Like there are decisions being made at the top of that club that, I know I've said it before on many podcasts, I don't repeat myself, but in any other business, people would be losing their jobs.
Oh, without a doubt, yeah.
Yet somehow, at this club, those decisions get made over and over again.
Yeah.
And nothing happens. I don't get it.
Oh,
This was the first week in my Tottenham Hotspur supporting lifetime. This was the first week where I was genuinely just pissed off.
Yeah.
I've been annoyed at times. I've been gutted. I've been frustrated. This was the first one. So I'm sure we're going to get onto the match later. So if you want to carry on with questions, I'm going to put a pin in this and I'll come back to it.
Oh, okay, all right.
Because otherwise, I'm going to go on a rampage.
Well, I mean, we've not really answered. I mean, my opinion on this is it's coincidental, not cause. So, I think the decisions that have been made, the poor recruitment and everything that's gone on, and a lot of arrogance from the club has led to us being in the position we're in. I don't think it's to do with the stadium. I think the reality is White Hart Lane has amazing memories for so many of us, and there is a real nostalgia to it. But we all know the reality of the age of the stadium. The facilities weren't great. Like, the view in a lot of places was shite. Like, I remember going there and remember going there for the first time and actually being really disappointed. Like, oh, this is kind of crappy in places. So, like, that's the reality, and I think everyone can say that. What we miss is that feeling of it all being a bit cramped in, the people we were sat with, and all that kind of stuff. That kind of nostalgia of good memories. Yeah. But there are plenty of shit ones too. But we just don't. Over time, you tend to forget them. Like I said about last season. In 10 years' time, no one is going to remember last season for all the league losses. All they're going to remember is the Europa League win. And I stand by that. But
I make you right, yes.
But, like, and that's what I mean. It's like, over time now, no one's remembering all the shit at White Hart Lane. They're just remembering the good stuff. The reality is, due to financial fair play rules, we had to change. Like, the stadium had to grow. We were a football club with a capacity of around 38,000, and that stadium couldn't be adapted to change that. We had to go new.
Yeah.
And we had a 40,000 person season ticket wait list with another 40,000, like, so 80 odd thousand ready to go behind that. You had to therefore grow the stadium to realise the financial potential. Now, there was an element, and I've said this before, Daniel Levy's plan for this was absolutely brilliant. And I don't give him credit all the time. I'm going to give him credit on this because the plan was spot on. He looked at what happened at Arsenal. Arsenal couldn't afford to sign players. But not only could they not afford to sign players, they had to sell their top players on a regular basis, normally to Manchester City at that time, just to keep up with their stadium payments. Like, it was a real problem. So what he did is he put together partnership agreements, like with the NFL. So the stadium was built with that in mind, because he signed a deal with them to do games there. He also built the concourse and everything with all the bars and everything within it, which would generate revenue for the club, not like leasing it out or anything like that. It was all built-in club income.
Yep.
And
never built a cheese room though, did he, the bastard?
No.
Never got the cheese room.
To be honest with you, I feel like there's no point talking now, because now you just brought up the lack of cheese room. It just feels like the whole world's going to collapse.
I just remember that being such a big thing for no reason whatsoever.
I miss the cheese room. It's true. I think perhaps that's where it all went wrong.
Yeah.
The minute the stadium opened with no cheese room, it's just been downhill ever since. But, sorry, going back to my point I was making, we needed that. And he looked at what happened with Arsenal, and so he created a second revenue stream. He got planning permission to stage non-sporting events at the stadium on a regular basis. And the idea was, the way he amortised all the stadium build debt is that it would all be paid by revenue, not football related. So the NFL games, the rugby games, the concerts pay the stadium debt.
Yep.
However, what again people forget, COVID happened. So
that had a massive effect
Yeah.
on everyone, especially like a brand new stadium.
Yeah. So we had this amazing plan, and then suddenly none of the events could happen, and we also had to host football matches with players being paid without a fan paying.
No income
going
at
through
all.
the door, no income, and it fucked us. We were just, it was awful timing for us, just the worst timing that could ever happen, and it that is why we then had that really, like, because like I said, it was the best, like, it was a great plan. It really was a great plan, but what can you do about an external thing like that? You can't do anything. So, yeah, it is painful that we went through that period without signings. And if we'd had better owners, and I genuinely stand by this, with real sporting ambition, they would have stepped in at that point. Like, okay, COVID's happened, there's no income going through, this team's right on the verge of doing something special, therefore we will step in and bridge the gap with money until,
Here's that 150 million war chest that we always heard about but never saw.
Oh god, yeah. Every fucking window we get told that.
In terms of the stadiums, going back to that question just quickly, I think the thing for me with that is, I think the new stadium has made it better for the opposition. Like, they've gone from, the changing rooms, the facilities, everything at this new stadium.
Yeah.
I think, unfortunately, when our performances aren't great either,
Yeah.
I do feel like it is buoying the opportunity for the opposition.
Yeah.
Like, you're sat in this beautiful changing room. There's none of this whole kind of, they said about when you go to like the lower league teams and you kind of sat in a cramped trailer, and it kind of gives the opposition that little bit extra. Now they come to a world class stadium.
Yeah.
That's got to give you an extra 5-10%.
Yeah, I mean, do you remember? It was a thing with Manchester United. Alex Ferguson said this when his team were at the peak of their powers. He said when he was signing a player, he had to get across to them, and he had to know from speaking to them, and sometimes it didn't work out, that they had to understand that for every game they played, it was a cup final. Because the team playing against that Man United team would go up 5-10% like it was a cup final, because they're playing against the biggest team, the best team.
Yeah.
And so you needed, week in, week out, to have that mentality of, shit, like, every team we're playing against wants to beat us.
Yeah, we are literally here with a target on our back.
When we moved into the new stadium, Mauricio Pochettino said any team that comes here is going to go up 5-10%. And therefore, we need to build a mentality of every game we play, we need to understand that we are now one of those teams that people want to beat. They want to come here and beat us, especially when the stadium first opened. Everyone wanted to be the first team.
Everyone wanted to be the first team to score, the first team to win. Yeah.
And he was right, and his analysis was right. But that's a mentality thing that I think a coach can instill, but also it has to come down from the very top. It needs to come down from this whole win mentality. Now, Ferguson ran Man United top to bottom with an iron fist. Once he left, we've all seen at Manchester United the power vacuum and the struggle they've had.
Yep.
I think Daniel Levy ran Tottenham top to bottom, and his unfortunate mentality of money first has caused us a lot of problems. But we're now seeing without him, there is a massive problem where there's a void, a vacuum, and no one seems to know what they're doing.
Yeah, no one at that football club seems to know how to run a football club.
So, in my opinion, no, I don't think the stadium is to blame. But I just want to do a little addendum to this, because I just want to open this up as a little bit of a thing for everyone to think about. There has been a sports science study in America, which is now also being taken up by Real Madrid, being completely ignored by Tottenham at the moment, because I saw a journalist put this to them and they said, no, that's not something we're thinking about. So they've actually been asked and said, like, no, we're not thinking about it. That there has been a monumental increase in injuries playing on a pitch that is over an artificial pitch. So this retractable pitch. Real Madrid basically mirrored our stadium design for that, and they have seen like a 25% increase in injuries. ACL, thigh, hamstring.
Yep.
They are therefore looking at that, and what is interesting is Real Madrid have basically said, if they find this to be true, because of course they mirror that type of pitch on the training pitches, because you want to make sure that you're playing on what you're used to playing on. That's the same at Tottenham. There is 2 training pitches at Hotspur Way, which is identical to the turf what they're playing on at the stadium.
Yeah. Now I've seen one of a video about this, and honestly, it makes sense. Yeah. You're not playing on an inch of soil to take all the impact. You're playing on like half an inch of soil because it's all compacted down and made into a smaller space. Therefore, you're going to be a lot tougher wearing, but at the same time being tougher wearing on the ground, it's going to be a lot tougher wearing on your body, on your joints, on everything. And all of a sudden you're looking and going, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah,
there's a logic to it, but sometimes things can seem logical and just be complete fallacy. So I want to put that out there because there's a lot being done about it. Because what's interesting to me is the NFL have moved away from those artificial pitches. So the NFL now, all of the major franchises are apparently back to playing purely on grass. And they don't like coming to the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium because, of course, we've got this artificial pitch for them to play on.
Right, yep.
So it's kind of interesting. Like, could it actually be that all of that needs to be changed and we need to go back to just a regular pitch? And if we want to keep the NFL deal, we're going to have them kick the shit out of our pitch twice a year. It's an interesting thing. It's an interesting thing because Real Madrid, of course, have already said, like, yeah, if we prove that this is impacting our football players, we're changing it because football comes first. Tottenham,
no, it doesn't. Shut up.
Yeah, Real Madrid, it does. At Tottenham, they've gone, no, that's not happening. Don't know what you're talking about. Go away. Yeah. So I hope I've answered that comprehensively.
I fucking hate them so much. Oh, just the pure fucking ineptitude at the top is just mind-boggling.
To cheer us up, we have a comment from...
Now it's time for a comment from Iron Brother.
summertime this weekend.
Oh, it is.
I think. I probably will check stuff like that before I say it. But yes, Island Brother, thank you very much, sir. Island Brother says, God, Lord, what a letdown. I was proper pissed after it needed time to reset. All that support to serve up that pile of excrement. Give it to Mason, give it to Redknapp, give it to anybody who can get these men playing front foot football. Play the children. At least we'll go down like the band playing music on a Titanic. Am I firmly in tinfoil hat territory if I declare the Prem officials have clear instructions to referee our games? The only consistent thing is that the calls will go against us. Always remember, just because you're crazy doesn't mean that they aren't out to get you. Yes. There is an old adage in football, and I think we are seeing it firsthand, is when you are down at the bottom, shit doesn't go your way.
Is it shit rolls down, and at the moment we are right down.
And it is rolling onto us, and over us. Great to hear from Island Brother. To say I was somewhat disappointed after the Nottingham Forest result is an understatement. Yes. Yeah, moving on.
It was just insane. Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, choking in the background. On Facebook, we have Paul Wilshire, who says, I said a while ago, if we don't beat Forest, I think we are doomed for relegation. We have no one with either ability or sheer will and determination to get us out of this. I was thinking after the game on Sunday, where is our Bale, Gaza, Modric, Kane, Son, Hoddle, Roberts? The list could go on. It's all very sad. Who do you think could get us out of this mess? I'm guessing by the way he's phrased the question with the player, he's talking about players. Who in that squad do you feel could do a Roy of the Rovers, kind of take everything by the scruff of the neck and drag us out of this mess? Is there anyone? Do you think there is a player there that could do it?
There is one player, I think, who could do it.
Go on, because I got one.
And he has been
mind.
unavailable for the entire freaking season.
Yeah, are you thinking of James Maddison?
Yeah.
Yeah, me too. That's
He's
the one.
the one player in that squad because he has lived this before.
Yeah.
He has lived this experience. He knows what what can happen to you. And I genuinely believe we have missed his creativity way more than people realise this season.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, he he's the one I had in mind as well. No, Paul. I don't think there is anyone.
No, apart from him. I mean, Richie is probably our other one.
Yeah, and you got subbed. This is mind-blowing. Tom Perk says, where do you think each of the squad will be next year, and how much will we get for each of them? Now, Tom, that's an interesting question. I am actually thinking to myself, once relegation is confirmed, to do a show along those lines of, you know, like the whole kind of, shag, marry, kill, but we'll do like, kill, sell, or keep.
Sell, loan, and keep. That's gonna be a fun game.
No, kill. I want to keep kill.
Oh, you kill.
I want to keep kill as an option. Olav Kier says, why do we still have do we still have a medical staff, and how much is their salary? We do, and they earn more than people want to hear. So we'll move on from that. Ryan Miller says, are there any Tottenham loan players you feel could have made a difference to us this season?
I would have kept Lancashire, I would have kept Scarlett, I would have kept Mikey Moore. At one point this season, Ashley Phillips and Dorrington, I think, should have been starting. Alfie Devine.
No, I don't know. That's a difficult one because...
Would they genuinely have made any difference to what is happening at the club at the moment? Would they have got on the pitch?
Hindsight's 2020, and like if I was the manager, then Yeah, there's a batch of players there I would have been given minutes to because they're Tottenham through and through, and there were so many injuries at different times to like forwards, for example. Thomas Frank made the decision to let Dane Scarlett go on loan whilst we had one fit forward. And then that forward, I think, got suspended the very next game. It's like brainless from top to bottom all the time.
Is that the same manager who sold our top goal scorer of the last season when we couldn't score a goal?
Yeah. I mean, but that's a whole club decision. Look, so Thomas Frank didn't rate him, wanted him gone, and they sold him. Now, something the club has struggled with is selling, moving on players. So you have to get into that. Okay, if you're going to back the manager, which they were, then get the deal done and get him gone. But there is an element where, I mean, I've seen it written down quite bluntly, like Tottenham won a trophy for the first time in 17 years, and then promptly sacked the manager that did it, got rid of the captain and the goal scorer. And when you think of it like that, it is fucking mental.
Oh, yeah, that is a very damning sentence, isn't it?
Yeah. Ryan, I don't think any of them could. I think, given the level of incompetence in both the management of the team and the club in general, I think we'd all be asking way too much of young players. There's a couple there who I would have preferred to see in the squad and be used, but like I saw Williams Barnett get put on the bench for like 10 to 15 games and not come on once. It's a waste of time if you're going to do that. So no, they're better off on loan. Richard Chamberlain says, I have said it all season, we are too fucking slow at everything we do. We don't close down quick enough. If we're going down, we will keep on going downwards. Richard, what's really interesting is how brutal Igor has been about Thomas Frank. Have you picked up on this in the press conferences and stuff?
No.
Yeah, Igor's been vicious about him. He basically said, like, this team can't run. They're not fit. The training sessions they were doing was appalling. And since he's come in and taken over, we have posted our best stats for ground covered, sprints, closing, running down. Like, it has genuinely improved.
Yeah.
I know we're all looking at it right now going, really? It doesn't feel like
Has it got better? Has it?
But yeah, like, it's like the statistics show it that Richard's assessment is spot on. All season, just lackluster, slow, methodical, like, just plodding and no purpose with the ball. I mean, I must have said it when Frank was in charge every week.
Yeah.
You've got no way of scoring unless it's a set piece. Or a bit of luck, a bit of brilliance from Kudus or someone like that. There's no way to score. There's no pattern of play. There's no drive. There's no kind of get it wide, put it like every manager I've always known. Okay, this is how we attack. This is how we build.
Front foot attacking football. That is what Tottenham Hotspur are.
Yeah, not with Thomas
Frank came in and it was, well, we conceded a lot of goals last season, so we really need to put that right first.
Yeah, but that was horseshit.
Yeah, and it didn't help anyway, so...
Nick Bath says, who will be in charge for the next game? There's a question.
Oh.
We've been linked with an Austrian man called Adolf. Let that sink in.
I saw that. I genuinely thought that was a joke at first.
No, it's not. He doesn't go by Adolf. He prefers Adi. No.
Can't imagine why.
If you're Austrian and your name's Adolf, you should not be managing Tottenham Hotspur Football Club. I'm sorry. There's certain clubs, there's certain links to certain communities, and no. I also want to point out, and this is fucked up, right? But I got a dark sense of humour. There is a picture of this particular manager clearly pointing to a player on the opposite side of the pitch. Right?
Yeah.
It has been cropped by every fan accumulator you can think of.
Oh, no.
So it looks like he's doing a certain salute
Oh,
and
no.
everyone who's sharing that picture, you're bad people because you've done that on purpose. Because when you Google his name, the picture of him, like, and you can see it, he's like literally pointing, and there's like someone out of shot, and you can see like someone's listening to him. He's obviously pointing to something like, "Oh, get over there." You crop that part of the picture in the side, all you can just see is his arm in the air and him looking. And every fucking account is used that cropped picture. And and you're all bad people. You're all very bad people. But yeah, I don't know who's going to be in charge. But I'll put this to you, Steph.
Yep.
Is Igor Tudor going to be in charge for the next game?
Hopefully, no.
Okay.
With our club? Probably.
I'm going to say no, he's not.
I think in light of situations that have happened, I think it is the right decision for both him and the club to part ways.
Okay.
That's
Purely talking about football, it's not worked.
Purely talking about football, fuck, it's been awful. No, get rid of him. He should have been sacked after the Atletico Madrid game.
Well, I don't agree with that, but it has not worked. It's not worked. It's not given us the impact it's needed. The players haven't responded in the way we wanted, but I will caveat this massively. I am starting to wonder if these players simply, no matter who it is, won't respond because they've already checked out.
Yeah.
And now I say that because there is statistical evidence that since he's come in, they're fitter and they're covering more ground. Now, if they weren't playing for him, for example, that wouldn't be happening. So he has made an impact in that regard, but there seems to be such a severe lack of quality, belief, maybe confidence.
Yep.
Maybe that's where he's failing. Maybe as a coach, and like instilling a kind of, no, you need to put the effort in, is worked. But he isn't someone who perhaps, the redknapp arm around him. Come on, my boy, you can score. Look at you. Look at this video. I remember years ago we had a Norwegian striker, Stefan Iversen. I'm sure that was his name.
Yeah.
And the manager at the time, I think it was Hoddle, he couldn't hit a cow's ass with a banjo, and sat him down with a video of all his goals and was like, look, you're a really good striker. Just watch. Like, you are good. And he scored a hat-trick in the next game. Just fucking someone do that. Like, just get someone, like, teach them, like, that they can still play football. Because one win can make a massive difference to us right now.
Oh, hugely. You
anyway.
win a game and all of a sudden it's like, oh, we can do that.
So, I don't know who's going to be in charge, but could be Adolf. I'll tell you what, I am going to say this because I think it needs to be said. There is a growing story that we have made an approach to De Zerbi to come in now. There are people within the club who rate him highly and want him to be the next permanent manager of the club. And we've apparently offered him a deal to come in now with a break clause on his behalf should we get relegated. So basically it's like, come in now, 3 and a bit year deal, save us from relegation, you've got the 3 years to turn this club around. Don't save us. You can, obviously, we'd love you to manage us in the championship, but you, as the manager, have the option to go, now fuck this and leave. If we have offered that deal to anyone, I'm fucking shocked and appalled at how inept we are again.
Yeah.
But 2, I have a real problem with him being our manager. Like a real problem.
Yeah, I am. Now, on a purely footballing basis,
Yeah.
he got Brighton playing a good style of football, but he's just a less decorated version of Conte, and we saw how badly that fucking went down with us.
Yeah.
He is volatile, he is fierce, he is not a manager that's going to work well with the Lewis family. So, purely football basis, no, not going to work.
Yeah.
His attitude and everything else, I don't like. I wasn't happy when we got Conte in because of what I just said. That volatile kind of will throw every person under a bus to save his skin if we haven't won a game.
Yeah.
Don't like that at all. So for those reasons, I don't want him in the club. The fact in his last club, the players that he signed and defended constantly says, as a character, I do not want him in our club either.
So, footballing side of things, the football he gets his teams to play is the type of football I enjoy watching. As a character, kind of fiery Italian, bit like Conte, unlike you, that doesn't bother me as much. Like I kind of find that funny in ways. I find him interesting, like an interesting character. I imagine it could get pretty annoying pretty fast if things don't go your way and the way our club is run. Like, for example, when we brought Conte in, I knew it wouldn't work long term because of Levy. Those two were it was like from day one, it was like, this isn't going to work. It's like me going on a date, getting on really well. I know it'll explode at some point, but, you know,
Yeah.
how long can I stay on the ride is always the question.
Yeah.
And with that, everyone knew, including both of them must have known that was just an explosion waiting to happen. I have no idea how it would be with De Zerbi and Vinay or whoever the hell is above, because we have no idea. All they seem to do is make stupid fucking decisions. My issue, and it's a serious issue, is how in the hell can we look at any female football fans of this club in the eye? How can we possibly, like the women's team and everything like that, when you hire a coach who publicly backed someone charged with sexual assault?
Yep.
When we signed Yves Bissouma, I was really against it because there was this charge against him in Brighton.
Yes.
And I was really concerned. Like, I didn't want to have a football player at the club with that. And obviously then all the details of that came out and, like, you understood that, okay, he was there with friends. He wasn't the one being charged or anything like that. But I find that difficult. I think having a manager who is the figurehead for the team, the club and everything like that, being someone who is so outspoken, because he's going to get asked about it. How, like, Mason Greenwood's an English player, homegrown, like, would he be trying to bring him to Tottenham? Like, I can't. Like, that is...
It's one of those things where when you look at the squad and the homegrown problems, if he came in, he's a player I've worked with before, who, unfortunately, is a very, very good football player.
Yeah.
And homegrown. Oh, that sounds like a great signing. And it's the sort of thing I can imagine our club would do with that sort of a manager. And that does not sit good with me.
No, it's...
I do not care how talented a football player he is. When you have that as your background and everything that happens, no. That doesn't sit good for me.
Yeah, no, I can't. So I'm going to say it now. His appointment might be the bridge too far for me. Like, I might need to just step away whilst he's at the club. Like, I don't know. It's something I'm going to really wrestle with because I love this club. I dedicate so much of my time to it, and I'm with them through and through. Like, being relegated, I'm still going to be showing up, doing this show, supporting the club. But that might be a bridge too far for me. Like, I can't reconcile that as a person to support someone, the team and the institution who would back it. I find that very difficult and troubling. Alvin,
What worries me most on that, last thing I say is looking at who our CEO is and looking at his track record with the player at Arsenal.
Yeah, I mean...
worries me that he clearly does not give a damn.
Yeah, yeah. And again, there's a lot of questions about that which we've never had answered as a fan group, of his awareness, etc., and his involvement. Alvin J. Furr says, who will be our manager next season? How about Scotty Parker? For the sake of Pochettino fans, he will not be coming to us in the Championship. Which players can we count on next season? Moore, Madison, Davis, Austin, Scarlett, who else? Most of the current team will be gone. What will the price of season tickets be? Should we cancel any direct debits now in order not to get fleeced? Why not start a petition to get this year's season tickets and memberships refunded? The Fan Advisory Board asked for the club to extend the season ticket renewal until the end of the season, so fans can make their own decision. The club are keeping the price the same, because if we're in the Championship, you'll get more games. Is their justification for that?
That is just absolutely fucking mental, isn't it?
Yeah. We have one of the highest season ticket prices in the Premier League and across Europe. When we go down into the Championship, our average season ticket price will be, I think someone worked this out the other day, 10 times higher than the current highest.
10 times.
10 times higher than the current highest, so there's probably a club that's going to come up. But that's our average is 10 times higher than the highest price for the current champions. But anyway, they're keeping it the same. I know
that blows my mind as well.
I mean, I know a few season ticket holders, and I know a few of them, their mentality is, I can't walk away from the club when the club needs me, which is admirable. But I also know there's a lot of others. I do know one who put on Twitter the only way he's renewing is if we go down, which made me laugh. But yeah, just for the fucking crack, I think, is the general gist of it.
Oh, that's quite funny. Yeah.
Getting money back's never going to happen. Sometimes a club or a team can do that as a gesture. That ain't happening from this club and this group of players. As for a manager in the Championship, Scott Parker's not a bad shout. He doesn't play the type of football I enjoy, but he does have a good record of getting teams out of the Championship.
And he knows the club.
Yeah, I tell you, I saw a fair few things about, like, you know, what would happen with the squad. And I think, again, if relegation's confirmed, we will do a show just talking all about that. I think it's too big a question, like, now. Ashley Rossi says, best Championship away days, and someone replied saying Bristol City be a good one. Yes, it will, because I'm in Bristol, so that'd be a fucking right laugh. Gordon Mills says, where was the fight from the Atletico Madrid game?
On the bench.
I have a horrible, horrible fault on this. And
Yep.
I said it to you, and a while ago, we were noticing that our team played better in Europe than it did in England. I think there's a motivational factor in this and a kind of like being up for it. And in England, you also don't get a minute's peace or rest, and our players were kind of plodding. Whereas in Europe, you can do that a little bit, against some teams anyway.
A lot of European leagues do not have that same, like you say, that same
Pace and
mentality
intensity,
of
yeah.
press that we do.
Yeah. So when we played Atletico Madrid at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, I stupidly thought it was a sign of a turnaround, and we were therefore going to fight and stay up. Now I realise it was a group of players putting themselves in the shop window of Europe to show all the clubs, look at what I can do in the Champions League, get me the fuck out of here, sign me. And ever since I realised that... It
terrifies me that I think you could be right on that.
Well, ever since it hit me, I've just been distraught about it, because for all the kind of together always bullshit, every single one of those players were shit against Nottingham Forest. And to fucking spend the time when the fans put in that much effort, that much everything, and to just fuck around and be as abjectly shit as they were, shows they don't care. And the final question is from Matt Jarvis. Says, if the players can't get motivated after seeing and hearing that support, when can they? That's the problem. I don't think they can.
No, and that's what worries me. If we can have... I mean, I need to say massive respect to all of the fans that turned up. Like, before the match, I've seen pictures and videos all over social media and stuff. That was incredible.
Yep.
And the players, I mean, at one point, our club captain lost the ball and jogged back. I don't think I saw any player... I don't think I saw any player play with near the sort of level of intensity they did in the European game, which makes you then question, like you just said, are they just purely going, well, these guys are fucked, look how good I am.
Yeah.
I am, not one player put in a performance. That's a lie. I think Tell and Gray played decent games, but I still don't think they were as good as they could have been.
Tell then got injured, by the way.
Yeah, Tell then got injured, so that's brilliant. We have a player playing well. He's gone.
Yeah.
I don't think anything happened in that game that was near the level we know the club can do, like the players could do.
Yeah.
And if you can't get yourself hyped up after that from the fans, we're in trouble.
Oh, yeah. Well, we are in trouble.
And that's why I say earlier, this is my first time this season where I am genuinely angry. Because this is the first time that we've had a lot of, like, over the last season and a half, a lot of toxic atmosphere in the crowd and stuff like that. This match, the entire fan base got behind the club and made an incredible effort, and the players couldn't be asked. And that's made me angry now.
Yeah, well, that's a perfect time to head to our feature, which is going to be for a couple more weeks at least. And that is Tottenham's Great Escape. Mate, there's only 7 games left.
Yeah.
So I got to ask the question, do you think we're going to stay up?
No. Now. No.
You've changed. Because you were of the opinion we were staying up. You put it in our group chat. Fact, guaranteed, Stefan says we're staying up. I've got it.
Yeah.
And you've changed your mind?
That performance.
Yeah.
That performance is just... So after the game, I watched the game, and I'm sat there watching the game, and the match finishes, and for some reason I realised that no one's really talking to me in the whole house. Right now, I live with my mum and dad-in-law, my wife, and 3 children. Okay, a 10-year-old, an 8-year-old, and a 3-year-old. Okay?
Yep.
That match finished, and I was watching it, and I'm watching it, and there's other things going around in the room, and everyone's... The match finished, the wife and children left the room. Maybe about 2 minutes before the end of the game. They all just left the room. They went upstairs, they started doing things. I didn't really notice. It was about an hour later when I realised that no one had spoken to me at all. Yeah. And my 10-year-old just came up to me, gave me a hug, and she said, "I'm sorry."
Yeah.
I was like, "Sorry for what? What's happened?" She went, "Well, you've looked really sad all afternoon, so I just wanted to say, like, I'm sorry and I hope you're okay." And I was like, "Oh wow, I have taken that result badly." Yeah. I was like, it's been an hour and I must have had a face on for the whole hour, because I was walking through the house I was doing this. No one said a word. And I'm like, oh my God, what face did I have on?
You know the whole kind of feature that I've created, the Great Escape. It wasn't story time, dude. You had a whole podcast. Like, this was a simple, are we staying up question.
No, we're not. We're fucked.
I'm playing the fucking background and everything. It's been like an hour. You've been talking for a day and a half. 7 games left. We go to Sunderland. We host Brighton. We go to Wolves. We go to Aston Villa. We host Leeds. We go to Chelsea. We host Everton. 21 points available. In our last 7 games, with 21 points available, do you know how many we took?
If I am correct, was it just the draw against Liverpool?
It was 1 point.
Yeah.
In our last 7 games. West Ham United in their last 7 games took 9. So if that pattern continues, we are relegated. There's nothing more to say on that. All there's time left for me to say is we are taking a break. It's an international break, and we are not in the FA Cup, so we have an extended break. Tottenham do not play again until the 12th of April. If there is a managerial change, then we may come on and do a show just to chat about that, as in when, whoever is appointed. However, my plan is to take a break and be back on the 15th of April when we will talk about the Sunderland game. So that is a few weeks without us. Please don't take it personally, but I need a break.
but Christ,
brain,
we need some time out. Yeah.
My brain is fried from doing everything I do to support this club, and I just... For the final 7 games, it's going to be something crazy. So, managerial change aside, we will be back on the 15th of April. That is our show this week. I hope everyone's okay and still with us. Yeah, there's nothing more to say, really. It is now pure hope and fear guiding me, but we shall see what comes next. 7 games to go. Once we're back after this international break, it's just that until the end of the season. Oof. Okay, everybody. You all take care. We'll be speaking to you soon.
And come on, you Spurs.
Thank you for listening to the Spurs News Podcast. We hope that you enjoyed the show. Stay up to date with all things Tottenham. Follow us on social media. All links are in the podcast description.